Welcome to the SeeItNow podcast, a 15-minute review of a movie near you. My name is Michael.
I'm Don.
And we just watched Furiosa, the new Mad Max, and we thought we were just at BAM. As you can see, we're over here at BAM. And Don and I had a bro date, and we watched Furiosa, and we thought we'd give you a quick taste of our immediate reaction, a raw hot take on Furiosa. Don, what's Furiosa all about?
It's a grotesque movie where people get torn apart constantly, and there's a lot of pounding music.
So, grotesque movie, pounding, people get torn up. This is a prequel to Fury Road, the second one, which came out like 5 years ago, I believe. But we're going to intercut this moment of the pod with actual pod stuff. So hopefully this is interesting, or maybe this will be the whole pod. Oh, guys, I didn't know. What do you think?
What do we eat?
Saint Stephen with a rose, in and out of the garden he goes, country garland in the wind.
First part of our podcast, we were going to say what we liked about the movie. The second part of the pod is we were going to say what we didn't like. Then we are going to grade the movie. Then we're going to do a top 3 post-apocalyptic movie. And lastly, we will review our lunch or dinner. I'm getting a sense you're not a huge fan of this movie.
No, I'm more of an apes guy.
More of an apes guy. If you could just illuminate what was positive, a positive part of the movie experience for you.
Well, I mean, choreography and action is just it's relentless. So there's moments that are really well done. I like that. And I like the beginning, the Eden place. It looked nice. So I wanted to go back there.
You wanted to go back to Eden.
We never got back to Eden. I was disappointed. I liked Eden.
What did you think of the performances?
I liked the mother in the beginning. I thought she was great. Those grotesque guys with those things on their faces. I don't know.
I thought Christopher Hemsworth's bad guy, actually.
Oh, yeah.
I thought he was pretty fucking good. He was great. I actually thought the action was spectacular. It is if you're talking about a going to a movie podcast, going to movies, would this be a movie you would recommend going to?
Well, if you like this kind of movie.
Okay.
I would say Apes over Max.
Oh my goodness gracious. Apes over Max. I definitely am Max over Apes. Unquestionably Max over Apes. But what I like, and thanks for asking, what I liked about the movie.
What did you like about the movie?
Okay.
George Miller's direction?
What I liked about the movie is I thought Hemsworth's performance was great, action was great, visuals were great, sound was great. It was a spectacular movie-going experience. And I just think it's probably one of the best theater experiences you're going to get this summer, or I guess this spring. I would go Mad Max over Planet of the Apes in a heartbeat. I shouldn't be saying this. I'm comparing this film with The Zone of Interest. But the feeling of dread in this film is very intense. All we know is terrible things going to happen in this film. It's same as Zone of Interest, which is the portrayal of the Nazis and the horrible things they did. Zone of Interest is a very high-level intellectual understanding of human nature and how we can process the possibility of annihilating anybody, but systematically they do it. And this isn't exactly the same thing as about this Darwinian, anyone that can't survive the desert is going to be killed in horrible ways. And so there's a sort of a gruesome horror aspect to this film, which, Zone of Interest has also got a horror aspect. They're totally different films. But I have to say, Zone of Interest for me was like an intellectual, examination of something. This was what horrible thing is going to happen next, and do I really want to see it? As a piece of artwork, I was totally locked in, almost in the same vein as Zone of Interest, obviously the content being quite different. I think the themes of feminism and global warming within the film was not nearly as prevalent as it was in Fury Road, but I did feel that. Don, would you like to discuss some of your displeasure for Furiosa?
The grotesque aspect, I just find it really, really weird. It seems like a horror movie, like a horror comedy adventure. And I don't understand it.
I feel you. I would also say the grotesque nature it's a little much, honestly.
I saw you jump when one of the guys got shot in the head.
Unforgettable moments. I did jump but that was just the tip of the iceberg. Someone getting shot in the head is a good day. in the world of Mad Max.
It is a good.
I would say this: what I just did not like about this movie was I was lost at times. I didn't know where we were going. There was a car chase about maybe apparently halfway through that I don't know what we were chasing. Like it just became like it lost. The narrative thread was lost for the purpose of action.
There was a narrative thread in that movie.
There was. I mean, she was trying to get back home. That was the initial thing. She's trying to get back home, and I mean, it's an easy one to follow. However, it got.
I have a question about her arm. How did she get that off? Did she chew it off? She just ripped it off? How did she get
it off? That's a little bit of a spoiler for our audience.
No, but if you see the other
Well,
one,
I guess if you see the poster, she does have a metal arm. I was actually disappointed. I mean, as far as the Mad Max Fury Road goes, this being the second one or the one that's previous to that, it's the prequel. I was at very high expectations, and it was disappointing in some ways because that narrative thread was lost probably about halfway through.
I had low expectations and they were met.
I say Chris Hemsworth's character was incredible. I thought he was one of the best bad guys ever, and part of it, what he's hiding behind, is his gift of gab. He's a speaker, he's a talker, he's like a Shakespearean character. However, the juxtaposition of Furiosa not speaking, it just became a little bit of a weird choice, and I feel like there was an imbalance in the performances. Would you agree with that?
No. So I would say that Furiosa never should have spoken, and the mute idea is so compelling to us as an audience because the tension is like, let's hear her speak. The Chris Hemsworth, like, listen, he's a good actor and he's doing this compelling. I don't know, is Richard III? I don't know what you're saying. But I get, and he's got a very tidy beard, and he's like this really intellectual guy, but at the same time, he's this absolute like Hannibal character. I think this is made up by, screenwriters that are being told by their studio heads this is what they want.
Could be. I thought that is an interesting take, and but I do think Anya Taylor-Joy's performance was just lacking for me, whereas I thought Hemsworth was crushing. I thought her posture, her almost like her physicality was not nearly as dominant as Charlize Theron, the character that she would be in Fury Road. I do feel her stage presence in the film was just not nearly as strong, and it lost me. And it actually was, in terms of a balancing the performance of Hemsworth, who is her like arch nemesis in this film, it just felt imbalanced, and I did not believe some of the moments because of that.
You make this decision with this character, which is she's the name of the film, and you're making the decision, but she's not going to speak. All right, that's,
I don't like that.
I do like that. And then stick with it, and when she does speak, it's got to be bloody poignant. I almost said fucking poignant, but I'm not like you, Mike. And her dialogue is so like run of the mill. Like,
one of the best takes I saw on the internet was from one of my favorite podcasts, Film Spotting. And I'll share it. I think this movie works as a silent film, as does Fury Road. The visual storytelling is super strong. You don't even need these guys to be speaking. I thought that was a great take. It's a great movie to have on the background of a party or something like that.
This film, Furiosa, is like it's a great example of what's happening right now in large blockbuster films. And they're desperately trying to find something that everyone's going to come to and see visually and exciting, and all these things they really want. Everyone's talking about the numbers, everyone talks about box office, and this film is disappointed. As I think Planet of the Apes disappointed, and it's because they're not understanding that the great aspect of these two franchises, and Aliens coming out again in August, is the unique aspect of these narratives. And you can't just keep like churning it out. You have to do something that takes it somewhere else. And maybe Aliens could disappoint us as well, but it's just the same thing. And we have people and executives that are monitoring scripts and monitoring how films should be marketed. And both films are flopping. I think we're going to see flops all the way through the season because people aren't making films anymore. They're just doing what the executives are doing because they want to hit their number for the opening weekend, and then whatever the following numbers are, and they've missed the point. Like, and they're just like, hey, let's take this thing and we'll turn it into McDonald's. And that's where I feel that we're just like marketing McDonald's versions of films that were made, 10, 15, 20, 30 years ago.
You just saw Mad Max Road Warrior recently. It's incredible comparison to Fury Road and Furiosa. This sort of the 1980s style of shooting is incredible. It's insane to watch. To think that this is the same director to the same concept, and it's just like, I don't know. It's pretty amazing to see how far this guy has come as a filmmaker. Maybe how far the technology has come.
How far down he's gone. Road Warrior is so much better.
No, that's a debate for another day, Mr. Gibson. Yeah. I mean, all right, Don, we gotta grade this movie. What is your 1 and what is your 2?
1 and 10. All right, so I'm gonna go recent. So top 10, Zone of Interest. It's it's demanding, it's intellectual, it's difficult, but you're sitting there trying to understand who we are. Barbie is my garbage number 1. Why am I watching this?
My number 1 movie of all time, or what I think to be a 10, is definitely There Will Be Blood Wires. My 1 is Attack of the Clones, a Star Wars film. Horrible, horrible, disgraceful movie. Don, Furiosa, what do you got?
It's typical. I mean, it's a 3.
I have 3. You gave it a 3.
Yeah, I'm sticking with. Go to the live version we did right afterwards. I think I gave it a 2 then.
I'll give this 2.5, 2.5.
You're giving that 2.5.
2.5.
I want to see a film where I'm either entertained and like this is a Indiana Jones. I'll go down that road.
That's what this is.
No, it's not. It's full of dread and there's no story.
This is a 7. I was expecting a 9. I mean, I think Fury Road to me is about a 9. Really? And I think Furiosa to me,
Fury Road was
is actually about a 7.
This film is 7. If Anya Taylor-Joy is given more lines, if there is one less car chase, this film is about an 8. Dread is an uncomfortable feeling that Zone of Interest game and Mad Max gave me, and sometimes good art makes you uncomfortable. This is the same.
I am so sorry I made that comparison because you listening it and you manipulated it in such a bad way that it's a mistake. I misspoke. Never should have said those 2 films in the same breath.
Well, let's just say that doing a podcast with you sometimes feels like I'm in Zone of Interest. So let's just this is good. Don, we got to do a top 3. Top 3 post-apocalyptic movies. What do you got?
Boyd is Dog.
I'm going to say 28 Days Later.
The Road, which I like the book better, but the film's pretty solid with Viggo Mortensen about the world's over and you go down the road and nothing's there.
I got Fury Road.
I got Road Warrior.
My last one has got to be Children of Men. I like that one. That's a good one.
What did we eat?
What did we eat? Where did we eat?
We are, but before I went to the place you love.
Oh, the empanada team.
Yeah, I had an empanada.
Another shout out to Caesar's empanada. Don had a little snackish.
I did.
A little snacky before he came here. I'm going to go to Hollow Nickel, my actual personal favorite for wangers and other fangers. What'd you get, a beef and cheese or chicken?
Beef and cheese.
It's a delight. It's delicious. It's a delight. It's a delicious delight. But it's not a delicious delight. This is the SeeItNow podcast, 15-minute review of a movie near you. My name is Michael.
I'm Don, and Mike's umbrella is poking me in the eye.
And my umbrella is poking Don in the eye. This is In the Flesh, the raw first take of Furiosa Mad Max. A movie I recommend, and I think Don doesn't. I'm more of a Max.
Don't take the kids.
Max over apes.
No, apes over Max. It's grotesque. People have nightmares for that.
It is definitely not a take a kid movie too. But peace out from Bam. We're in Brooklyn. Love y'all.
See ya.
Saint Stephen with a rose, in and out of the garden he goes.